All right, testing 1 2, testing 1 2. All right, let's try that again. Testing, testing. Encrypted printer! I don't know, my audio is sounding bassier than usual. I don't understand it. I don't have any apps controlling my my levels. That's weird. Alright everybody, welcome back to another stream. Whew. On this week's stream we've got ourselves some Ys 3, specifically the Sega Genesis version of the game. And this is a game I played a lot as a kid, specifically the Super Nintendo version. And you know, I didn't play a lot of the Ys series growing up. And actually, you know, to be frank, I haven't played a lot of the Ys series in general. Like, I played the first one on the TurboGrafx CD, and I got most of the way through that game. I played a lot of Ys 3 growing up. One of my best friends used to rent this game all the time on Super Nintendo. And then it was because it was a really early game on the system, it was really cheap, you know, on the used market. So I was able to pick up a copy pretty early on and play it a lot for myself. I eventually played the Genesis version, and then in more recent times I also ran through the PC Engine CD version, or the TurboGrafx CD version. But I haven't really played many other Ys games outside of that. I've played a little bit of Ark of Nephishdom. I've played the Oath and Felghana remake of this, which is amazing, by the way. We're going to have to stream that sometime. But that's about it. Ys 8 actually just recently came out as of doing this stream. And I haven't even looked into it yet, just because there's so many other Ys games in my backlog that I'm probably just not even going to worry about it. But, yeah, I actually wasn't planning on doing this. Someone had mentioned last week streaming an Ys game, and I was like, yeah, you know, we'll eventually stream Ys 3. We'll do it sometime in the future. Well, I ended up just firing up a Genesis Friday night, and did some Let's Play practice, ran through a couple games, but then I was like, you know, I got some time to kill, I want to play a relaxing game, and I just happened to fire up Ys 3 on the flash card, and 4 hours later, we had the game finished. So we ended up beating the game in one sitting, and thanks to that, we have a live stream of it tonight. So we're going to go through this whole game tonight. It's not a terribly difficult game. It does get challenging at the end. Don't get me wrong. Like, the final boss in particular, if you don't know a good strategy for it, is very, very difficult. And so, yeah, this will be fun. It's a very grindy game. It's not very complex in terms of, like, level progression and you know, stage layouts and things like that. What we're going to end up doing is just repeating the same sections over and over and over and over again to grind, to level up, and things like that. The level scaling in this is really weird too. Like, you could get to a boss and you'll hit him and it'll just take like a pixel's worth of health off his life bar. And you'll go back and you'll level up, like, say, twice, and you'll go back to the boss, you'll kill him in, like, 4 hits. Like, that's how much, like, the levels will increase your stats and abilities and things like that. So, we're going to be doing a lot of grinding in this game, and the game really forces you to grind, honestly, unfortunately. It's one of the downsides to the game, is it does get very, monotonous and repetitious, with how the grinding is implemented. But I still have a soft spot for this game because, man, the soundtrack of this is amazing. And the Genesis version in particular just has a really nice soundtrack. It's definitely the highlight of this version. One other nice thing about this version is it seems to be more faithful to the original computer versions of this game. So in the original Japanese computer versions, there's some various computer platforms in Japan it was on. It has this little intro here. You don't have this in the Super Nintendo version. You have other things that are a little more accurate to the original game it was based on. These console ports apparently were not developed by Falcom themselves. They were ported by other companies, which probably explains why some of them play the way they do. But the Genesis one here just seems to have been ported really well. It's a really solid job from what I can tell. So, but yeah. Let's go through the chat here before we do the Patreon thanks and all that good stuff. Hey, Spider1A, how are you doing, Chris? This man probably knows all about Ys 3 because he's the TurboGrafx master. Did you ever do a review of Ys 3? I want to say you haven't done it. If you have, I need to go look at that. Andy says, back in the day, my friend Jamie and I thought this was pronounced like wise or wise. Like a letter Y. Yeah, no, Andy, me too. When I was growing up, my friend and I that used to play this a lot used to call it Wise. We had no idea how to pronounce it. Hey, Jose, welcome. And yeah, Encrypted Printer, welcome back, man. Good to see you, dude. Hope you're settling into your new place. And Hexagon Nebulous, welcome. Boo Radley, welcome back. Tony Hayden, no reason. And, let's see, am I missing anybody? DJ Rudin, what's going on, man? Okay, Carlos says, your second Q&A was great, Austin. Interesting on how you had your progression through the different consoles. Yeah, thanks, Carlos. Yeah, by the way, guys, I actually posted my second question and answer session today. So my Q&A session number 2 is up, in case you missed it. If you want a podcast style rant or rambling video for an hour and a half, it's there, so feel free to check that out. I posted that on Patreon like 3 weeks ago, so yeah, it was up on Patreon as an early access video for a few weeks. So hopefully I can do more of that. I have a lot of questions left over from the first Q&A, so I'll probably try to get a third Q&A done sometime in the near future, and I'll post that to Patreon. And it'll be there for a while before I post it on YouTube. So, Ys 3 is for later. In fact, it might be the final episode. Really? You did Ys 1 and 2 a while ago. Yeah, I remember your Ys 1 and 2. Hell, your Ys 1 and 2 might even be on one of your DVDs I got from you. I don't remember. I need to fire those up again. I actually, when I was getting into YouTube stuff, man, I was really into those DVDs. I got like the Retroware TV and Happy Video Game Nerd. I got the Spider1A. I think the first 2 volumes of that. I should fire some of those up again just for old time's sake. Hey, Solid Nate. But okay. So with that, let's go ahead and do the old Patreon thanks as usual. So I want to thank Lord Lore, who actually just backed the channel today. So thank you, sir, for your patronage. Had a couple declines again this month, so anyone that's not on the list that is backing the channel, make sure you go check your Patreon account and get that sorted out. But thanks everyone else for continuing to pledge. And let's go to the super chats as well. So these are the most recent super chats and our current sponsors. Actually, sponsors, the name of that has changed. It's now membership. So you'll notice that there's a join button on probably above the chat or below the video player or something like that. That's basically a monthly subscription where a good majority of that goes towards the creator, and you get some custom emotes, and kind of like Tony Hayden up top here, your name is highlighted. So, but yeah, so thanks everybody who backs this channel. Really helps me out, trust me. Hey Michael, welcome, man. Working on a DVD volume 4 now, in fact. Yeah, no problem, Chris. You do great work, my friend. So anyone that hasn't seen Spider 1A's channel, you should probably go check it out. I'm sure most of you here already follow him, but just in case you don't, I'll link it in the description. He's trying to review every single TurboGrafx game released in North America, and so you definitely need to go give him a follow. He's been at it for a really long time. When I go on Turbo binges in particular, I really like watching his stuff. But let's go ahead and jump into the game. So there's going to be a long intro here. So we're going to go ahead and just start the intro. One of the awesome things about this game, though, is that you can save your progress just about anywhere in the game. So that actually really helped me out a lot when it came to practicing the final boss. So, yeah. So, fortunately, we're going to get to the final boss. I should be able to defeat him on hopefully my first try. When we were kids, we had no idea what to do, but there are a couple of different strategies you can use. One of the big issues with this game, specifically, is the combat is really janky. You'll swipe at enemies, and, like, your sword will just go right through them, and it happens a lot on the final boss. It's really irritating. So hopefully I can try to explain some strategies once we get there. So, Mike, you found me the other day looking for Saturn Quake. Excellent commentary, sir. Hey, thank you, man. Much appreciated. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the channel. Well, there you go. Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, Chris, Spida, like, you're a busy man. So, yeah, it's understandable, dude. Town Naharas, welcome back, man. Bruh, I would give you a super chat, but I'm broke. Hey, don't worry, boo. I appreciate you watching and hanging out. And that goes for anyone out there that can't support the channel directly. Remember that, like, you know, first and foremost, I want people to enjoy the content that I post here. I mean, that's why I do it to begin with. You know, the monetary aspect is nice. If I can grow that, then awesome. You know, the more I can get this being like an actual real part-time job, fantastic. But first and foremost, I want you guys to actually enjoy everything. And that doesn't cost you anything. So you don't have to pay to watch my stuff. So, you know, hanging out, watching, commenting, all that stuff is great. So, yeah, you know, this intro is actually a lot longer than the Super Nintendo one, and it's different too. Like the artwork and everything is different. It's presented differently as well. The story is roughly the same, but the artwork and whatnot is totally different. The slides are different. Town of Hearts has been waiting forever for this stream. Yeah, and don't mind me, guys. I don't know, this week I've been sniffling a lot. I don't know if I'm coming down with something or what, but, or if I've got an allergic reaction to something, but hopefully it's not too big of a deal in this stream. Let's see. Heading to York, Pennsylvania this year. I'm going to try to make it to York, man. I'm not going to have any money to buy a pin or anything, but I definitely want to try to make it to York for sure. Because it's close. Like, I missed Allentown because I didn't really have any money, and it's really far away for me. It's like 5 hours away. But York is like 2 hours, you know, so I'll probably hit up my friend Edon, who has been on the stream a couple times, and we'll probably plan to head up to York. Yeah, I definitely want to do that this year. Yeah, it was a lot of fun last year. Yeah, so at York, Pennsylvania, guys, there's a game room show that focuses mostly around pinball machines, but you'll see some arcade cabs and stuff like that as well. and that happens usually late September, early October. So anyone that's in the on the East Coast near Pennsylvania, you might want to look into that. It's called the White Rose Game Room Show, and you go in and pretty much everything's on free play. Hey, Town of Horrors, thank you for the super chat, man. Happy days. Here's a $5 for bringing the East goodness. Hell yeah. Thanks, Town of Horrors. Yeah, sorry, I had the desktop audio muted because I was doing the audio test. Let me log in and re-trigger that alert. Yeah, you can see this intro is just super long. I was really kind of taken back by how long this intro was when I played this last weekend. And there we go. So thanks again, Town of Horrors. But yeah, the White Rose Game Room Show is awesome. So anyone that wants to play some pinballs for free for a weekend, well, not free, you have to pay to get into the show, but the games are all in free play. Definitely check it out. There are actually a bunch of like arcade and then also retro gaming focused conventions on the East Coast now. There's a lot popping up all the time, but the White Rose Game Room Show is a long-running game room show. So if you're into arcades and pinball, definitely look into it. Yeah, it's hard. Owl's voice. It's really hard to say which one is best to start with. I'm probably not the best person to answer that. I would usually say East 3 because it's really simple to get into. It's a very, very simple game. The combat makes a little more sense because it's East 3. I think East 3 was the only one that was just a side-scrolling action platformer style, right? Hey, Spider 1A, wise, ease. Right on, Chris. I appreciate it, man. I will gladly take you up on that offer, assuming my friend's driving. Ever played Willow for the NES? I have. I haven't gotten that far into it, but I did play it as a kid growing up. Oath and Felghana is a phenomenal game. I do highly recommend that. I'm not sure how good it is for a newcomer. I don't know, because when I played it, like, I played it for the first time about, you know, six-ish years ago. And, so, yeah. I didn't have much trouble with it, but I was also familiar with the original game it's based on, which is East 3. I would like to recommend East 1 first, but the combat is a little weird. You have to bump into enemies. And once you get used to it, it's fine. But I'd probably say one of the more recent East games is a good way to go. Because the combat systems are a lot more streamlined and modernized, and they're not janky, they're actually good. Maybe Oath and Felghana is a good place to start, because it takes all the great things about this game and adds way more great things on top of that. Like, the combat is awesome in Oath and Felghana. I absolutely love it. But you got the kick-ass music from this game, and, you know, the same type of story progression and whatnot. Yeah, it's really fantastic, so... Yeah, Michael, that's probably the best recommendation, is to try one of the more recent ones. Town of Horrors' East 8 is great, so that might be a good place to start. Or Oath and Felghana. You can get a bunch of them on Steam, like Oath and Felghana's on Steam, East 8, I believe. Ark of Nepishtim, I think, came out not too long ago on Steam. I have the PS2 version of that, so whenever I go through it, I'm going to go through it on PS2. Alright, so you start with 1,000 gold. And I'm not gonna really, you know, talk about the story and stuff like that. I'll try to let the text stay on screen for at least like half a second. But generally, you know, the story in this game is very, very basic. And it might even be more basic in the Genesis version than it is other versions. Like, some of the translations in this are kind of goofy as well. Even some of your item shop translations are pretty funny as well. Like, the herb, H-E-R-B, is mistranslated on one of the menus as harb, so it's H-A-R-B. And we were making fun of that so badly on Twitch, man. Every time it would pop up, I'd crack up laughing, because it was like, would you like to buy a harb? Buy some harb. Oh, jeez. I gotta stop myself before I go off on a tangent like that. But, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna buy some items, more specifically some equipment. So we'll get our short sword. Oops. Pretty basic stuff for these early East games. A lot of times you start unequipped, and you have to buy a few, you have to buy some early equipment. And this was the case for a lot of early, like, role-playing games as well. So, you know, while this is a side-scrolling action game, it's also got RPG elements. The original East games were top-down games, so think more like Legend of Zelda with some RPG elements, where you gain experience points. Your stats build as you level up and whatnot. But I would call these more like light RPGs, because yes, you do level up, but in this game you probably only level up like 8 or 9 times over the course of the game. You really don't level up that much. So we basically got out of the first town and we go to the Tigray mine, or the Tiger mine. So let's go ahead and equip our stuff. So you've got this menu here. You can press B to cycle between your left stuff or your right stuff. So you just press the D-pad over to equip these things. You'll notice that it's flashing red when they're equipped. And you can press B to get back out. Or actually, you press start to get back out. But yeah, so you can crawl on the ground, you can stab up, you can do a down stab in the air just by holding down the attack. And then you can just hold down the attack button to attack normally. And that's pretty much it. And you can also save your progress, so we're going to go ahead and do that. Now, the beginning of the game is probably one of the tougher parts, because you are extremely weak. Like, I will probably die in like 1 or 2 hits here if I'm not careful. So what we're going to do is we're going to basically be grinding out here for quite some time. So, you know, one thing about East 3, aside from the kick-ass music, it just has an amazing soundtrack. It doesn't have a very good start. It's very, very slow to get into, because you're not going to be able to get very far into this this cavern without leveling up. So we're going to go over to the right here and just work our way back. So be prepared for a little bit of boredom, because this is exactly what we're going to be doing for a really long time. And look at that, he just took a bunch of health off of me. They're actually not doing as much damage as I thought they were. But one thing that's nice is when you go outside to safe areas, your health refills. And so what I like to do sometimes when I do that is I just come out and I resave it to keep my experience progress. We're basically going to be save scumming, as they call it in the Doom community. So basically kind of abusing the save system so we don't lose lots of progress. It's one of the nice things about this game. And I think if it didn't have a save system like that, it probably wouldn't be as fun. Because there's a lot of risk in the East games. You know, in the early parts of the East games in particular, you just get wrecked when you take damage from enemies. Now you can hit start and go to status, and it'll tell you what your next level up is. So for us, it's 300 experience points. So we're almost halfway there to our first level up. Now, one of the things is when I was playing this on Twitch over the weekend, it took me a little bit longer, I think, to get a few level ups right away because I hadn't played the game in a really long time, so I was really, really rusty. I was having a hell of a time trying to get used to the controls again, but, you know, since I beat the game, you know, I'm pretty comfortable with it again, so we'll kind of see what happens here. Alright, we're at 180. Where is Austin streaming from? I spent $10 to watch Austin grind? What? I want my money back. I want a refund. But yeah, I'm streaming from my home, Boo Radley, if that's what you meant. If you meant a greater location, I live in the northern parts of Virginia in the United States of America. Yeah, Town of Hearts. One of the things I love about the Genesis version of this game is, like, the music renditions. They're just really, really well done. And the thing about this game, the Genesis version specifically, is just it makes really good use of the Genesis sound hardware. You know, there are a lot of early Genesis games in particular, not even just early, but a lot of late Genesis games as well, that did not take advantage of the sound hardware very well at all. But East 3 is one of those games that just sounds awesome. And it's an early game, too. You know, it's, well, relatively early. It's probably, what, when did this version come out? Maybe 92? Thanks, Michael. I'll tell you how I do it. I have no life. So, it's a little bit easier when you don't have obligations. You know, if I had, like, you know, a girlfriend or a wife or kids or both and my cat, I wouldn't have the time to stream as much as I do. I mean, maybe I could still figure out, like, a weekly thing, but, you know, one of the reasons you guys see me doing this as much as I do is that, you know, I don't really do a whole lot else with myself. I basically have my job, and then when I come home, I stream. And that is basically it. That's my main hobby right now. Haven't been doing a whole lot of pinball stuff lately. I still go out to the one of the local locations to play, you know, probably once every other week. And I still play a little bit in my apartment. My friend loaned me a machine. So I play that every now and then. But for the most part, you know, this is what I do. And lately I've been trying to up the amount of streams on YouTube. Because there's just a lot of stuff I want to cover. But also YouTube seems to favor people that do it more often. So you'll probably see Saturday streams here more often. Like I have been doing for the last couple of weeks. It's still not a guarantee, but you might see them more often. So we're going to come down here and try to kill some of these guys. These guys can kill you very, very quickly, but they give you a lot more experience points. And our next level up is at 1,000. Yeah, you can see how much health those guys took off. Guy in Pittsburgh has a TNA. See, we just died. But it's a good thing I saved it. Yeah, man, you should definitely... I mean, I know you like that game a lot, and I think it's pretty awesome. I finally got to put a good bit of time onto it. It's a great game, man. And we can just reload our game, and we're right back here. Yeah, I wish I had cash, man, so I can get a couple pins again of my own. But I had to part with all my pins earlier in the year to try to get finances in order. And then I had, like, those health issues, which ended up basically taking all my money from one of my pin sales, which was like a kick in the nuts. But, you know, whatever. It is what it is. Like, I've got my friend's Time Warp in here. It's a Williams Time Warp from '79. It's a really fun game, but man, I wish I had like a modern Stern in here again. Like, that's my bread and butter, like the modern Sterns. And I love all the stuff from the 90s as well, but I like the deeper rules. And I also like the modernized sound, you know, like the stuff from the late Sam games up until now sound really good. Like, it's crystal clear, like CD quality audio. I love that too. Oh yeah, I haven't had pins, Tony, since February. I sold my pins back in February. But I've had a pinball machine in here because my friend Scott still loans games to me. You know, he's got more games than he can store in his house or put on location. So what he does is he keeps a game or two here at a time, so I still get to play pinball for free, but it's not my game, you know. Nice. You know, I wouldn't mind having a Ghostbusters for a while as well, because, it's a brutal game on location, but when you're playing it for free, like, you know, you can, I'm more likely to take more risks. But man, Ghostbusters is a nasty game on location. But having it tweaked in a home setting, where you can get those, like, you know, various protectors on it so the ball doesn't, like, bounce to the, you know, air ball to the out lanes as often. You know, stuff like that would be nice. I'd like to explore the rules a little bit more. I mean, I played a lot in Pinball Arcade, but it's, you know, it's not the same. Pinball Arcade is definitely not the same. Hey, Lodging Dolphin. Alright, so we're 600 experience. $614. Now, one thing that is kind of like janky in this. Oh my god, really? Yeah, this is going to be happening a lot in the early parts of the game. Like I said, these guys will kill you in like 2 hits. Best version of East 3. I would say this version. The music's great. The frame rate is really good. Yeah. And it's got some of the other things from the Japanese computer versions, like the intro and whatnot, is more faithful. The Super Nintendo version, your attacks are a lot faster. And in the TurboGrafx CD version, the frame rate's really bad. Like, it's a choppy mess, man. Very tough to play that version. I ended up forcing myself through it about 6 years ago, but I don't recommend it. You know, when you could play the Genesis version, like, I don't really recommend the PC Engine CD version. Although the soundtrack in that version's amazing. I'll be really interested to see what Spider 1A has to say about it when he finally reviews it. Yeah, you won't get punished for bad shots. You'll know them. Yeah, absolutely. That's the great thing about, you know, having games in a home setting, is you learn the bounces really, really well. You learn the games, you learn the intricacies of a game, not just the rules, but you learn things like, you know, the bounces much better. You know, so the game becomes a lot easier to play. You know, like my Rolling Stones Pro, when I used to have one. Well, actually my LE as well, when I had one of those too. That's an insanely brutal game if you play it on location and you don't know, like, the rolls and the bounces. And you probably won't on location unless you play at that location regularly and it's, you know, maintained and cleaned. But in my home setting, I could just dominate the game. You know, it's a great feeling. being able to do that to a home game, you know, just plays so well that you just feel like you could play forever. Alright, so we're going to work our way back out so we can try to get our health back. But we're getting close to our next level up too, which is good. Yeah, I'm gonna have to, you know, my Turbo Duo has had major problems with, like, reading CDRs. So I'm gonna have to fool around with it. I actually took it to my local, game store to have it repaired. And they're like, your drive's fine. It reads as normal disk fine. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like, yeah, I don't use normal disks. These games are so damn expensive now. Like, I can't afford to have a legit, you know, PC Engine CD collection. And, so I have one official, actual, legit, like, Turbo Duo game, Prince of Persia, which will probably work fine on it, but I'll have to try to figure out what's up with the CDRs. Maybe try different brands of discs or something like that. But it refuses to read my CDRs. But when I get that sorted out, I would like to do, I would definitely like to revisit this, you know, the Turbo Duo version of this game. You know, that would definitely be nice. 3,000 experience points. So one other thing I can do, which I might actually do, is go back to town and go get some upgraded armor. Because I think we can do that now. Just to sort of get us by here. Nicholas says, this game is great. Am I using the OSSC? I am not. I'm actually using the FrameMeister today. I've actually switched back to using the FrameMeister pretty much 100% of the time. Because my OSSC does not play nice with my Elgato. And it's a lot more trouble than it's worth, unfortunately. So we're back to using the FrameMeister all the time on stream. The picture quality is very comparable. I do think that the OSSC, by default, has much better, like, black levels and things like that. I find the colors just pop a little bit more. Granted, I know I could get a similar image with the FrameMeister via custom profiles, but I don't have any custom profiles set on this. I made some basic tweaks myself, but nothing special. One thing I wanted to note is that we actually do have the gameplay zoomed in a little bit. Not through the FrameMeister, but I just have it blown out a little bit. Or cropped, I should say, in OBS. The game itself actually doesn't take up your full screen. You notice that the game plays in this border. And, you know, there's probably a good 2 inches on each side of the screen. And a good inch or two at the top of the screen. So, it's one of the downsides of this game. I think we need 8,000 for the broadsword, yeah. And we don't have 1,500 gold. We definitely don't have 6,000 gold. Okay, so we're not going to be able to upgrade right now. RP, those are ring points. So basically we'll get some rings, and once we equip them... once we equip the rings and use them, your ring power will deplete as they're being used. Let's buy some Harb. So, Harbs, or herbs, as they're going to be referred to later on in the game, they give you all your health back. The amulet here you can buy will actually destroy enemies on screen or deplete the health of bosses. The mirror will freeze enemies on screen, and the necklace, which is a ton of money, will revive you and give you all your health back. You probably know this, but I know there have been some documented stuff on Duo's reading CDRs. I heard a high-quality disc burn at the slowest rate possible is your best bet. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's good old-fashioned, like, CDR knowledge when it comes to, like, burning discs for consoles. But my Duo, I have a PC Engine Duo. I had a friend recap it, and then I also replaced the lens. And when you replace the lens, you're supposed to adjust the potentiometers in the system. Before I replaced the lens, or the laser, it was reading CDRs fine. But then it stopped reading them occasionally. Like, it would stop reading them, like, halfway through a game or something like that. And audio was also cutting out, which was a sign that the caps were bad. So we had all that done. And I tried adjusting the potentiometers myself after I replaced the lens, but wasn't able to get it reading CDRs for more than a few minutes. And now it just refuses to read them outright, completely. So, yeah, one thing I can do is try a different brand, so I'm going to have to research better brands of CDRs. No, I mean, I'm glad you mentioned it, Chris, because there are a lot of people here that probably aren't very familiar with Turbo Duo problems. So it's definitely a good issue to talk about. So we're going to spend our sweet time leveling up here again. I hate doing this, but, you know, this is kind of really what you have to do in this game. But it'll definitely pay off on the boss fight. Plus we'll get some more gold. Maybe I can go get that, that leather shield. Leather shield was the second one, right? I don't remember. And if you really want to spend a lot of time, you can just grind out on these enemies for like an hour. And then get enough gold to go buy the banded sword. No, not banded sword. I'm thinking banded shield? Banded armor? I don't remember which one it is. The broadsword, which is like $8,000, but it'll significantly raise your attack power. Is East comparable to more popular series like Zelda? I don't know. I'd say the E series in general is very comparable to classic Zelda. The E series is really nothing like Zelda post Link to the Past. The early East games are definitely a little more comparable to the original Zeldas on the NES. So, you know, like this, I would definitely compare a little bit more to Zelda 2, for obvious reasons. East 1 and 2, you know, they have a similar vibe to the original Zelda, with its top-down gameplay. But as far as modern East games, yeah, I'd say they're nothing like modern Zelda games. Oops. Yeah, it seems like it's best to just crouch and attack these guys. Hey, Brandon, what's going on, man? Welcome to the stream, Mr. Michael Mackert. I'm getting pretty good at this grinding thing. Grinding like a champ. Alright, see you, Andy. Yeah, one of the reasons I love Oath and Felghana is the remix soundtrack is amazing. Like, I bought the limited edition on PSP many years ago. It came with a soundtrack. Like, I no longer actually own the physical game. I have it on PSN, but I still have the soundtrack disc. And man, I listen to that soundtrack on its own outside the game so much. It's that good. But yeah, by the way, guys, it's Michael Mackert's birthday this Saturday. So wish old Brandon there a happy birthday. For those of you guys that are new to the stream, Michael Mackert is my brother Brandon. Yeah, Oath and Felghana is fantastic. Yeah, Brandon's actually played through Oath and Felghana as well. He played the Steam version. BioPhoenix. Hey, I actually really like this one. Nice. Nicholas played this for Genesis. Nice. Yeah, I've got a massive backlog too. Newtopia equals Zelda. Yeah. Yeah, if you want a real Zelda clone, play Newtopia on the TurboGrafx. Or Golden Axe the Warrior on the Master System. Those are both very, very, very original Zelda-like. Newtopia is one that I want to get decent at and be able to go through on a stream. That'd be really good. I've had multiple requests to do that. Alright, so let's go down here. Keep scrolling up. Hey Austin, how long are we going to be stuck in this dungeon? Until 3,000 experience points. And then I'm going to move on. So we basically have 1,100 to go. And then we'll go back to the town and buy some stuff. Actually, let's just go buy some stuff right now. For Genesis standards, what? Genesis has a lot of great stuff, man. I'd say this is average for Genesis standards. I'm getting all fanboyish now. Yeah, the thing about this is, God, the music, man. The music is so good in this game. And yeah, I grew up on the Super Nintendo version as well. Which actually kind of made me appreciate the Genesis one even more because I was so used to how the SNES one, like, looks and feels. But man, the audio in this is just so damn good. They're actually extremely fun playthroughs, even at your age. Your advanced age. You played Golden Axe the Warrior on Sonic Collection for 360. That's right, yep. Yeah, Sonic's Ultimate Genesis Collection has a couple of games from other eras. It's not all just Genesis stuff, which is awesome. Alright, we shouldn't take as much damage now, since we got some better armor. And like I said, if you really, really wanted to, you could grind here for a while and just buy everything you can from the shop before you go through the rest of the game. Personally, I think that would drive me insane, but the option is there if you really want to do it. How is the music so good in this? Well, it had fantastic composition, for one. And you could thank the creators of the original, you know, computer versions of this game. But two, the folks that ported it to the Genesis just made really good use of the sound hardware. You know, the Genesis can sound really awesome with, you know, when it's taken advantage of. Oh yeah, look at that, man. We could actually probably progress. We probably don't need to level up, but I'm going to go ahead and level up anyway. So we can't actually progress through here either, but this should actually give us Power Ring. So now I can at least demonstrate the ring system. I probably should have came here first, but it's not really a big deal. I was killing the guys in like 2 hits anyway. So when you go to your equipment screen and you use your ring, you'll notice that the RP number will now deplete. But the power ring makes you extremely powerful. So notice how I'm just killing these guys in one hit now. So you're going to be using the power ring a lot on boss fights. Yeah, no, absolutely, Michael. That's definitely one of the big issues with the Genesis, and it's really a developer issue. You know, when developers knew what they were doing, this system could sound awesome. You know, great examples being the Sonic the Hedgehog games. Oh man, those soundtracks are so good. You know, Ys 3, Musha, Thunder Force 4, Comic Zone, all that stuff, you know? A lot of the Western developers in particular were really sort of at fault when it came to not taking advantage of the Genesis sound hardware. Not to say all Japanese developers were created equal either. But I think of the Genesis games that sound the best, I think more tend to be Japanese than Western developed. Yeah, so we're at 2,400, we're gonna get to 3,000, and then we're gonna go ahead and just progress. Yeah, I apologize for this grind, but trust me when I say this actually is taking us a lot less time than it did on Saturday, or sorry, Friday when I last played through this. Alright, we're at 2,500. What about Sword of Valis? I never played the Valis series. Or is SYD of Valis... Is it Sid of Valis? Side of Valis? I have no idea. Hahaha, Lords of Thunder. There's actually gonna be a Let's Play of that sometime in the next couple of weeks. Spoiler warning. I did a Let's Play on it probably like 4 or 5 years ago. So I'm gonna be revisiting it for another Let's Play. And there's going to be another very, very difficult Sega CD game I'm going to be tackling again. Which will probably be right before Lords of Thunder. So I'll leave you guys to wonder what that is. Well, for those of you guys that haven't been watching me play it on Twitch anyway. For those of you guys that have watched me play it on Twitch, and you already know what it is. Oh, Castlevania Bloodlines is great audio, yeah. I did a Let's Play of that a few months back. For anyone that wants to see a expert mode playthrough. I forgot how much money the other items were. I think they were all well above $2,000. But we're gonna go back outside just to get our health back. And then we can go to, I think we have to talk to a guy, get a key, and then we can go fight the first boss. Which version do you like for Lords of Thunder? Well, I like both. I think both are great. I like both versions more in some areas than others. So, gameplay-wise, I think the Duo version is better. Your sword isn't quite as powerful, so you can't wreck through enemies as easily. Also, the hardest difficulty mode on the Duo version has suicide bullets, which the Sega CD version does not. So the hardest difficulty mode on the Duo version is way harder, which is more interesting for me to go back to these days. The Duo version also has some better background scroll effects here and there. It's got some like screen fade effects and things like that as well that you don't have in the Sega CD version. But the Sega CD version, the music, man, oh, I love it. I love the soundtrack so much more in the Sega CD one. They just completely redid the soundtrack. It's not even just like, you know, remastered. It's like full-on re-recordings, and it's beefier, it's better produced. It sounds like less garage sounding. And I like how the melodies and stuff like that work in the Sega CD renditions. I still love the Duo soundtrack, don't get me wrong, it's still amazing. But I love the Sega CD soundtrack a lot more, definitely. I like the sound effects in the Sega CD one more as well. Like, the Duo version uses, you know, the base PC Engine sound hardware for, you know, most of its sound effects. So, like, they don't sound that great. Whereas the Sega CD takes advantage of some of the Sega CD sound hardware, but also, you know, I think the Genesis sound hardware is a little more appealing to me than the PC Engine sound hardware for sound effects, generally. You get, like, deeper, bassier sounds in the Genesis. But yeah, both games are awesome. I mean, there are a lot of people that prefer one or the other, like, just as, like, you know, a black and white thing. But for me, like, it just depends on the mood I'm in. Basically, if I want a greater challenge, I usually play the Duo version. If I want better music and kind of a more relaxed experience, I'll play the Sega CD one. They're both fantastic games. Have I considered any more Sega Saturn games? Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, no, we'll definitely be doing more Saturn stuff over the years. Absolutely. What kind of holds me back from doing a lot of Saturn stuff right now is I don't have much of a Saturn collection. And while I do have some burns, I don't have a lot of the games like I want to Let's Play or do live streams on. But we will do a Saturn stream again sometime, probably in the near future. We'll try to do another variety stream. You know, I've got plenty for that, but as far as like dedicated playthroughs and stuff like that, I don't really have much on hand that I really feel like tackling. Although I do have the European version of Power Slave, an actual physical box copy of that, so I do need to practice that and try to run through that game. Alright, so we need to go to the warehouse, which is up here to the top right. So, look at this, guys. The game's actually progressing now. Just gonna kill these guys while I'm here. Now, one of the things about this game is the platforming is really janky. Like, it's really tough to, like, run and jump off these platforms. Because you'll notice that Adol here, our main character, just kind of, like, hops off, and he just kind of, like, you know, it counts him as, like, falling in air. And when he's in that motion, he can't actually jump. So, it's tough to deal with the platforming in this game. Alright, so we actually can't save when you hear the boss music, so we're going to save it right here. What was that unique thing you bought for the Saturn when we went to that gaming convention? It actually wasn't Saturn, Steve. It was Dreamcast. It was the Yu Suzuki Selected Works for Dreamcast. And look at that, I didn't even have to use the power ring. If I used the power ring, we would have killed him, like, instantly. So that's the good thing about leveling up, though, is you can make bosses pretty trivial. I've got Longsword. I will definitely be streaming more Dreamcast games, Carlos, because I now have a GDEMU. I installed it about 3 weeks ago. And, so, yeah, I just need to get more games for it. And then, yeah. Delta, no, there is a Saturn flash-based device. Well, not flash-based, but like SD reader. They're called optical drive emulators. They basically replicate, you know, the CD drive, but will read data from an SD card instead of a disc. So I think we actually have to leave the mine now, but I'm going to come back this way anyway. But the problem with those is that, for one, they're expensive, and I don't have the money to buy one. And two, they only come up for pre-order once every now and then, so they're not always available. Also, I'm kind of waiting out for a fellow named Professor Abrasive. I back him on Patreon. He's working on a SD card-based solution for the Saturn that pops into the back of your expansion port, so you don't have to replace the disk drive. You can still use original CDs if you want to. Yep, indeed they are, Brandon. I think they're releasing it on consoles, too. So you might want to look into the console versions if you want to play them on your TV. I think it might be Xbox and PS4. Wasn't the Saturn the first console to have a hard drive? No, that was the original Xbox. I mean, when you're talking like built-in internal hard drive. Saturn did have internal storage, but other systems prior to that had internal storage as well, like the Sega CD. Alright, let's go ahead and use our power ring here. So this guy does a lightning attack. So we're just gonna jump over like this. And just kill him in like 2 hits. Dreamcast was the first to have a gyroscope controller. Yeah, I don't know if that's true, actually, Steve. Because there are a lot of accessories from back in the day, like the 80s in particular, that had, you know, similar tech. But the Dreamcast fishing controller, yeah, it was basically like the same technology that you saw, or very, very similar technology that you saw on the Wii controllers, the Wiimotes. Alright, so you guys are telling me Shenmue HD comes out on the 21st. Nice. Also, halfway tempted to pick up Dark Souls. Brandon, if you want to play Dark Souls, I can just let you borrow the remastered version on Xbox One. I don't think I'm going to be firing it up in the near future, so if you want to play it, man, I can bring it over. I definitely recommend playing it. I think you'll really like it. It's really hard, though, but it's really good. Yeah, Code of Princess is a really fun game. I had the 3DS version many years ago. And I ended up beating the game. It was a lot of fun. So whenever I get a Switch again, I definitely would like to play the Switch version. Alright, all that grinding paid off. The remastered one's great, Brandon. There's really no reason to play the original Dark Souls anymore on console. Yeah, the remastered one... So the original Dark Souls on consoles had a really bad frame rate for very, very select areas. The remastered version basically bumps the game up to 60 frames a second for most of the game. Actually, on an Xbox One S, it might still be 30. I don't remember. No, I thought it was 60. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look into it again. But yeah, if you want it, man, you can totally borrow it. Yeah, no reason to buy it. I mean, you can try it, and then if you like it, you know, if you really want to, you get your own copy later on. But I have all 3 of them on Xbox One. So, it's here. Yeah, I don't think we got... Oh, we did get Roy's pendant. Okay, cool. So, we can basically use Roy's pendant and give it to this old lady. So we received the shield ring, which basically reduces the amount of damage you take. Yeah, the Switch version is 30 FPS, absolutely. Oh, very nice, Brandon. Yeah, we played through Eternal Ring a few months ago on YouTube. I have not. I've only beaten the first one. I haven't played parts 2 or 3 yet. Just because they're massive time commitments. Alright, I am clearly missing something here. We're gonna have to go back to the cave. Let's see... 6,000? You're out of your freaking mind! Alright. Hey, Smithereens! How are you doing, man? Welcome back. Yeah, I am interested in Sekiro. FromSoft's new game. That was definitely one of the coolest looking games to me at E3. You can basically look at it and be like, that looks like Dark Souls, without, like, the RPG elements. So, one thing to note is, when you use your ring power in this game, it depletes, but every time you kill an enemy, you get 1 RP point back. And it maxes out at 255. Oh man, Mega Man X Legacy Collection, I want that so bad. Hey, liberal arts guy. No, supposedly the X Collection is pretty good. Yeah, we actually have to come back here later on in the game. God, did I really miss something? You're supposed to go back to town and it, you know, triggers another set of cutscenes. And then you have to go to a set of ruins to progress the game further. Alright, let's try this again. But yeah, I mean, supposedly the X Collection, it looks quite nice. It plays quite nice. Yeah, I definitely missed something here, man. I must have been looking at chat or something. Got sidetracked. Because I beat the boss. I was like, well, that's it, right? I did go to Dogi's house, yeah. But yeah, one of the reasons like I want the X collection is because to play X8. Yeah, that's right. You're supposed to walk to the right here. I'm an idiot, man. I didn't even notice that gap. I had no problem doing this last weekend. I just clearly wasn't paying attention. There we go. Oh, nice, Brandon. The games run smoother, Carlos, and the graphics have been cleaned up a lot on the PS2 games. Yeah, X7 and X8 look a lot smoother. Watch the My Life in Gaming video that was posted last week, and you'll see. It's a night and day difference. Alright, so basically she's gonna tell us to go to the ruins. Delta, it's not two halves if you buy the physical version on Xbox or PS4. So basically, you buy the physical version, you get both discs. So, if you buy it physical, you can't really complain. You know, I think it is pretty annoying they're separated on the two discs. Like, Blu-rays are huge. Do you really need, like, 30 plus gigabytes for all those games? I highly doubt it. So, Capcom's definitely been making some questionable decisions, if you ask me. But, you know, at least you can get them both in one package. You know, you don't... If you buy them digitally, then yeah, you gotta pay for 2 games. But on the flip side, if you don't want, say, the second 4 X games, you can just buy the first pack digitally if you want. So... Alright, let's buy the mirror. And let's buy the amulets. And that's it. All right. So this is a pretty basic area. It's just a lot of, you know, straight hallways and whatnot. Nothing special. And then we're going to get thrown down into a fire cavern. And we have to work our way back up. Now, one of the things about the Genesis version is I do find that it's a little bit harder to grind than, say, the Super Nintendo version. In the Super Nintendo version, there are very select parts in the game where enemies just constantly spawn in. Like, on this part in the ruins, I think you could just sit here and just, like, hold up, and birds just constantly come down. And you can just literally hold up and B, and just level up for free, basically. Same with the fire cavern. In the Genesis version, you can't really do that. The enemies don't just keep dropping right on top of you, and it takes them a while to respawn. So, grinding in the Genesis version is a little frustrating, in my opinion. And it really slows down the pace of this this version. Well, I mean, Carlos, you can look at it like that, or you can look at it as they're offering the customer flexibility. So if someone doesn't want to pay $40 for the whole collection, which features 8 games, mind you, they can pay $20 and just get, like, the first 4 games, or the second 4 games, whichever set they want. And you can look at it, you know, from both angles. I do feel like, with the physical version, though, they should have just put it on one disc. Because they're both included in the same package. Like, I don't... It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. I mean, not that discs are really expensive to manufacture. They're not. But it's still kind of questionable in my eyes. Hey, Wayne. Yeah, what really interests me about the Mega Man X Legacy Collection is the Mega Man X Challenge, the X Challenge, which has you fighting multiple bosses at the same time, which is a really cool concept to me, so I really want to play it just for that. But here we go! Let's go ahead and save our game. So we're going to be grinding out a lot. So if you come over here to the right, you're not going to be able to progress. A violent lava flow blocks Adol's path. And so basically that'll clear up once you beat the boss, the first boss here. Wow, these guys are doing a lot of damage. Yeah, so we're gonna have to level up quite a bit here. But we can use our harb, or herb. So you actually equip it, and then you press A to use it. And we just gotta level up. So that actually will help us quite a bit. What's great about this area is that you have an infinitely respawning herb that you can constantly pick up. And it's just over here. So we're going to be hearing this a lot. I've got harb. Even though you go to your equipment, and it says herb. So it's actually herb, not harb. Hey, Timu. So, just like the cavern in the beginning, we're going to be here for quite some time. But I'd say this part's even more irritating to farm at, because the enemy spawns are so inconsistent. In the Super Nintendo version, you can just sit in place and just hold up, and birds just constantly spawn from both sides, making leveling up really easy. Generally, in the Super Nintendo version, you would probably max out your character here. But in this version, it doesn't really work like that, unfortunately. Yeah, so we're not going to be able to do anything to this boss, but we're going to try anyway. Oh, you know what? I should probably equip that shield I bought. I did buy a shield. So yeah. Yeah, see, look at how little health I took off of him. If I really wanted to, I could just sit here and, you know, try to kill him. it's not worth it. So let's go ahead and unequip that and just run out, and we'll probably have to level up a couple times. So it's 10,000, then I think it's 15,000. So, and then after 15,000, I think we're good. Oh, geez, Wayne. Yeah, that can happen. You do have to be careful about saving. And that's a risk you take with pretty much any game that allows you to save wherever you want. But the great thing is that you have multiple save slots. And so realistically, what I should be doing is I should be saving it at multiple locations. So we'll have a couple backups. No, his life will not be the same. It refills. So if you don't defeat a boss and you leave the screen and you come back, his health comes back. But when we go back to him, it's going to be trivial because we're going to be a hell of a lot more powerful. And we'll kill him in just a couple of hits. Again, that's one of my big complaints with this game in general, but specifically this version. It's not as big of an issue in the other versions of the game because it's a lot easier to level up in the other versions of the game. Again, in, say, the Super Nintendo version, you have a lot more enemies constantly coming out at you here, which allows you to level up a lot faster. So we're basically just going to be running back and forth here endlessly, hoping for enemies. Like, this is good so far, but now nothing. 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 Something. There we go. Nothing. Nothing. You see what I'm talking about? You're just, you know, it's a crapshoot, basically. Now, the mountain is actually the best place to grind, and I found out a really good strategy to grind in the mountain area. So, we're going to max out our levels at the mountain. But we are going to get a couple levels here. We're probably going to go to 15,000 experience points. But we're getting close to 10,000, which is our next level up. And I believe it goes 15,000, and then 20,000. And then I think it goes 30, then 40... And then I forgot what is past that. Maybe 50 and then you're done. Or 60 and then you're done. I don't remember. You actually don't level up that many times in this game. Oh, did you buy the Switch version, Town of Horrors? Yeah, that's a good reason to buy the Switch version. You get the all the Mega Man X games on the go. I will say, it would have been really cool if they included the PSP remake of X. That would have been awesome. Alright, we're getting close to our next level up. There we go. Let's see. Yeah, 15,000. So we're definitely gonna get 15,000. Yeah, the Firebirds seem to be the best when it comes to experience right now. But there's just not that many of them. Hey, Cabal, welcome back. Let's go ahead and use our herb. Hey, Charles. Yeah, I was just saying the same thing, man. It would have been really cool if they included that. That would have made it like an instant buy for me. You know, if they polished up the graphics like they did the PS2 versions, oh man, that would have been sweet. Yeah, and I think the 3DX games would have been better regarded had X7 actually been good. But man, they really dropped the ball on that one. That was, it was especially disappointing when it came out. Like, it was very unpolished and janky, even for its time. Like, you can't look back on it and be like, oh, well, it was just because it was an old PS2 game. It's like, no. They were earlier old PS2 games that were so much better and well, like, you know, better polished, better playing, better produced. And let's see what we can do here. I don't think we're gonna be able to do a whole lot still, but we'll try it. Cabal, things have been okay. Yeah, they've been okay. Whoops. Okay, that's a little bit better. I can do this. Stone Idol. Yeah, so we are gonna have to grind for the next boss. We're gonna be fighting another boss in just a couple of minutes. That's one thing this game does. It usually throws bosses at you back to back. Yeah, the harb thing is actually a mistranslation. If you go to your menu, it actually says herb, like it's supposed to. But if you pick one up or you buy one in a shop, it says harb. You'll find various, like, spelling and grammatical errors all over this game. You'll have letters that are supposed to be capitalized, but they're not. You know, like, simple things like that. See, I found some herbs. I've got arb. It's like, what? I swear, guys, it never gets old. Well, Mega Man Powered Up, yeah. It would have been nice if that was in the original Legacy Collection. What would have been really cool is if they also included like the portable X games. Like not just Maverick Hunter X, but like the 2 Mega Man Extremes from Game Boy Color. But maybe they're planning another compilation with like all the Zero games. Yeah, it would have sold better on the DS, but it wouldn't have been better, though. I'm glad it was on the PSP, man. PSP was much better hardware. I can't imagine how, like, goofy and janky looking, like, powered up would have been on the DS. So, that's probably why they went with the PSP. Much, much stronger hardware. Powered Up is a great game. I need to really dedicate time to that so we could do a live stream of it. Yeah, exactly, Charles. Like, maybe they could do a Zero collection for console, so you can actually play them on console. Yeah, no, Zero Collection has been on DS for a long time, but I mean, they also released an X Collection on PS2 and GameCube, so it's not like, you know, this is the first X Collection either. But it would have been cool to see some of those more oddball titles released as a part of this collection, or maybe include them as maybe like a part 3 or something like that. Yeah, 0 plus ZX. Yeah, it makes sense, Noah. I mean, the PSP wasn't as popular as the DS, so yeah, you're not gonna sell as many copies no matter what. I think by PSP standards, it's still sold fine. I mean, they even re-released it as a budget title. They don't do that sort of thing, like, without a game selling well. But yeah, no, it most certainly did not sell to DS standards. But who cares? The game would not have turned out nearly as well on DS unless they took a totally different, like, visual route with it. So we didn't get a sequel? Oh well, at least we got one really good game, you know? Yeah, so this leads us to our next boss fight, but we're gonna have to level up again. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna return to the town too. Because I have 8,000 gold. I can get my next sword. I agree, Wayne. I agree. Yeah, so 8,000 is what we needed for the broadsword. That should help us out quite a bit. Charles, you can play Oath and Felghana on a Vita. It's available on PSN as a PSP classic or whatever. That's how I last played through it. I played through it on my PSTV with the PSP PSN download. So, yeah, as far as an actual re-release, yeah, that would be great. You know, like a release, like a port of like the Steam version. You know, so you've got, you know, HD visuals and whatnot. That'd be great. But technically, you can play the PSP version on the Vita if you download it. PS4 though, no. I mean, with Ys 8 out, maybe they'll consider porting all those games to consoles again, like modern consoles. I mean, I'd rebuy Oath and Felghana for Xbox One in a heartbeat if I could. Alright, there we go. Ys 5 is the only game not localized yet. What platform did Ys 5 come out on? That wasn't PC Engine Duo, was it? I know Ys 4 was Super Nintendo and Duo. Oops. I love that parallax scrolling in the background. Oh, Ys 5 was on Super Nintendo. Okay. There's no translation of that? So there is a fan translation. Well, then what do you mean by not localized yet, Wayne? I mean, Ys 4 wasn't released over here, right? I mean, it was translated, but it wasn't released over here either. Unless one of the remakes is based on Ys 4. Hey, Arioka, how are you doing? Getting close to leveling up again. Aeon Genesis did the translation. No, Vanished Omen is the first Ys on Master System. Yeah, no, that's Ys 1. Yeah. Memories of Solcita is Ys 4 proper. Alright, I don't think we're going to be able to do much to this boss, but we'll see. I did get the better sword. So the last time I fought this guy, I did not get the better sword. So we'll see what happens. Oh, Ys 4 is remade on Vita. Gotcha. So Memories of Solcita is part 4, basically. Kind of like Oath and Felghana is basically part 3. a much better version of Part 3. Okay, well, we're doing okay. Cool. This guy's kind of a pain. The hitboxes are all weird. I could probably... I'm going to try to use... Let's see. Let's try to use the mirror, see if you can freeze him. I don't think you can. No, you can't. Lame. Yeah, so the mirror is supposed to freeze enemies in place. And the thing is, you can get really sloppy with these bosses as long as you don't die, because you get all your health back after you defeat them, so... And that's it for this place. Yeah, I think what helped me out was having the sword. If I just went straight to that guy at the current level that I'm at, I don't think we would have killed him as quickly. Yeah, if we do Oath and Felghana, we're gonna be, it's gonna be a multi-part stream. I don't know if I can beat that in one sitting. I don't think I can. I have not, Arioka, no. Sea Snake! We've been live for almost 2 hours now. Alright, so the time ring will slow down enemies on the screen. It's actually not an item I really use. We have to go back to the mine now. So for those of you guys just tuning in, you get to hear the awesome mine music again. Or not again, but for the first time. And for everyone else, you'll get to hear it again. East Origin. Yeah, I heard that's a fun one. Pretty sure I have that on Steam. God, I might have it on PSP as well. I have to check. Hey, Sane Well Balanced Horse, welcome back. Is it raining down there for you, Sea Snake? It's definitely raining up here. Okay, well, you're not going to hear this music for long. The music's going to change. Yeah, Marcelo, that's actually as far as I got in East 1. That's towards the end of the game from what I understand. I got lost in that maze and I was basically like, yep, I'm done. Yeah, East 3 is not very long. You know, the longest part of the game is the grind process. If you could just run straight through the game, it would be you would probably take like an hour to get through. Alright, so we're gonna come down here. And I should probably go ahead and equip the herb. And let's go ahead and just use the shield ring. Yeah, so you can see how basic this game is. Like, in order to open this box, you had to get the amulet, and the amulet was like 2 screens over to the top left. It's like, not really that complex. Yeah, I agree, sane, well-balanced horse. I mean, that's definitely one of the reasons I like to go back to it. I don't have to think too much. Oh, nice. Upgraded armor? Alright, there we go. Plate mail. Yeah, in North America especially, it was definitely one of the first that a lot of people here played. I mean, you had the first one on Master System. You had, you know, the ones on TurboGrafx. But not many people really played those, you know. We're probably going to have to actually level up again. Yeah, let's just go level up again. We're getting close to our next level up. Let's go ahead and unequip the shield ring. And let's go ahead and save it. Alright, there we go. That might be enough to kill this boss. Yep, the old East grind. So running into that glowy ball thing will teleport you back. Kind of an irritating mechanic. Yeah, we got this. So, I mean, what is cool about the level up system in this is, like, if you want to actually fight the bosses, you can try to fight them without leveling up. But, you know, which is kind of cool. But I think most players are just going to level up, you know, more than they need to be, so they don't actually really have to fight the boss. Now, the last couple bosses in the game actually kind of force you to actually have to fight them, because you're maxed out on your levels by then. Alright, so I think we need 30,000 for this next one, yeah. But we're gonna go to the mountain after this, and in the mountain, you could basically just grind infinitely, very, very quickly. So we're gonna max out our character very shortly. Glowy ball thing. Trademark. Cabal, we were talking about it earlier, and it was suggested that East 8 is a great starting point. You know, it's the most current one that just came out. Also, some of the other, like, remakes, like, Oath and Felghana, are really great starting points as well. Oath and Felghana, which is on PSP or Steam, or Vita, if you buy the PSP version on Vita, it's a remake of this game. So you get the awesome music of this game, but you also get much, much better gameplay. And this is the only side-scroller in the whole series. And the remake of it is top-down, and it's a lot more fun. This one is probably the least stress-inducing of the East games that I've played. Like, even in Oath and Felghana on the normal difficulty mode, you had to actually learn the boss patterns. It was a tough game. But it was fun, too. I don't know if I can get anything else yet. Let's see. Ah. I can't get anything. I used my herbs. I should just buy another one. Oh, yeah. So now we can actually buy... Oh, never mind. I haven't gotten it yet. Oh, no, we can. Yeah, so we buy the brochure serum, and that'll actually restore, I think, about 70 to 100 RP points. And you can also pay her to recharge your ring for you, which is nice. Let's go ahead and just do that. And buy an herb. Hey, Lord JP, how's it going, man? Yes, 38 viewers. Thanks, guys, for tuning in tonight. It's all good, no reason. Well, thanks for being here. Alright, I am going to use the restroom, so give me about 2 minutes, I will be right back. Alright, I'm back. Haha, pinball streams. If I get a different machine in here, I was talking to my friend Sky, it's possible he might put a different game in here. We'll definitely do another stream on YouTube. I'll try to get Edon over here again. Yeah, for anyone curious, I have a separate pinball channel on YouTube. I usually have the link in the description box, so if anyone's interested in checking that out... yeah, let me actually just find it. Yeah, I just posted a link to the pinball channel, but what we did is we actually did something a little bit different. I streamed pinball on my main channel here. I generally try to separate the pinball from my video game stuff, just because the audiences don't overlap that much. A lot of video gamers don't understand pinball, a lot of pinballers are anti-video game. You know, it's weird. So this is where we're gonna level up. So actually what I should do is quick sleeve. Let's get back out here. Hey, John Gaines, welcome back. But yeah, this is where we're gonna level up. We're just gonna sit here and grind out. But I have a nice little strategy here for it. So what we're gonna do is kill these guys. But what I'm looking for is this dude. And we're just gonna sit at one of the lowest points and just hit those little things he drops out over and over and over again. Oops. This is one of the problems with getting a game over, is it goes back to the beginning. Let's try this again. Sea Snake, someone is actually homebrewing a Doom pinball machine. There's a thread on Pinside about it. It's been in the works for a couple of years now. Alright, so let's go ahead and use our power ring. And then use our herb. Well, it would have been, you know, I bet you 20 bucks that if the original version of Ys came out on the NES in North America, that would have been the most mainstream Ys game. But it didn't. I believe the first Ys came out on Famicom in Japan. Okay, so I'm not at the right level yet to be able to do this. And I pretty much have no herbs left, so we might actually have to reload our game and do this again. Okay. Let's see if we can do this. I messed it up. Thoughts on Ys 3 on Super Nintendo? It's very similar to this one. It's a good game. Yeah. They're both pretty comparable, but I'd say the Genesis version has the edge. For the gameplay. The gameplay seems a little more manageable. Like, your character doesn't seem like he's as cracked out when he's attacking. And, again, some of the things are a little more faithful to the original Japanese computer versions. And the soundtrack of this is just awesome. I mean, the soundtrack's great in the Super Nintendo one, too. But some people might even prefer the soundtrack in this one. Both are fantastic audio packages. Yeah, this isn't working. Diablo 3 pinball, but digital only? Yeah, I don't know about that, Sea Snake. That's the first I've heard of it. If there is one, it was probably like a homebrew virtual pinmame game. Which those have varying degrees of quality. Some of them are really good, some of them are really bad. Alright, we'll just have to do this the old-fashioned way for now. until I get a little bit stronger. Jeez, man, come on. No, I did it again, man. Which pinball video game would you recommend for the beginner? I would recommend the Pinball Arcade. Because you get, like, the personality of real-world tables. Ah, actually, although some of that personality is gone now because all the Williams tables were delisted. Shoot. Yeah, I would still recommend Pinball Arcade. Because you can learn some real-world, like, pinball skills there. The Zen Pinball is pretty good, too, but I find that their tables are a little more difficult to understand. And, in many ways, I don't think they're as fun as the real-world tables. Yeah, what we should probably also do is find Dogi, and once we do that, the guy there, I think, will give us herbs. Oops. Let's go ahead and just use one. You want to play Arcana now for some reason. Yeah, I don't know if Arcana's any good. My brother and I tried it out a couple years ago, and it seemed kind of interesting, but, you know, we didn't get very far. Oh, since I got full health, I should probably save it. Yeah, so this is what I'm talking about. And what's great is every time you kill one of these things, you get a ring point back. So as long as you have the power ring equipped, you just sit here like this. Your gold goes up, your experience points go up. So this is exactly what I wanted to do the first time, but I couldn't get it. Brandon says, gotta be honest, I never really gave pinball a chance. Pinball is fantastic. It's super fun, super addicting. And you get a very visceral feeling that you don't get with video games. Because you've got this physical machine. You feel like the rumbling of the machine as the ball hits stuff. You know, you feel like the vibrations as the ball goes up a ramp. You know, you don't get these feelings in video games, and that's one reason why pinball is so fun. But there's a high level of skill involved as well that people don't realize with pinball. So you basically get the fast, reflex-oriented, adrenaline rush kind of gameplay that you get with arcade-style video games. But sometimes to an even greater extent, you know, depending on how fast the game's playing. And then the rule sets, once you learn the rules, there's a lot of depth to it. So we're just going to max out our health here, too. Max out our health, and we're going to max out our gold. One thing I might recommend as well is the Williams Pinball Hall of Fame on the Wii. It's cheaper than, you know, the Modern Pinball Arcade or the Williams Hall of Fame on the Xbox 360. The physics are still fairly comparable to the Modern Pinball Arcade physics. It's not nearly as polished, but you still get the Williams tables, which is the big deal. Alright, so we're maxed out on our levels now. But what we're going to do is just max out our cash as well. Our cash goes up to like 50 or 60. Actually, I think it goes up to 65,535. There must have been some kind of like internal game limit that causes it to cap out at that. Probably a carryover from the original computer versions of the game. If I had a computer scientist in the chat, I could probably explain why that is. Memory limitations or something. Ugh. All right. Nice gameplay, Dead MP4. Alright, that's it. So what's kind of fun about this is we don't have to actually attack any enemies now because we're maxed out and all of our gold is capped. There's really no reason to do anything now. Except unequip our power ring. But when we go back to town, we're going to be able to buy some other stuff. There we go, Banded Slayer. Yeah, Vita collecting might become a thing. I don't know. Handheld collecting is not nearly as popular as console collecting. Like, even like DS and PSP hasn't really seen a huge spike in prices. There are select games, like, you know, that the hardcore crowd is, you know, more into. And will drive the prices up on, but a lot of stuff is still really cheap. And even if you go back to older handhelds, you look at, like, the Game Boy or Game Gear, there's only a select few games that are, like, really expensive. Collecting's just, you know, people aren't as interested in the collecting for handhelds. People will still collect them, but historically speaking, handheld collecting hasn't been as popular as console collecting. I'm actually kind of surprised that Game Boy collecting in particular hasn't gone up significantly because, you know, because you could play those games on a TV, you know, with various devices. I always thought maybe the fact that you can't play a lot of these handhelds on a television was a big reason why, you know, people weren't that interested in collecting them, but it seems like that's not a huge factor. I mean, Super Nintendo's got various Super Game Boy models. GameCube's got the Game Boy player. But collecting for the Wii U, that's gonna be a tough one. I don't know, man. I really don't know. Especially with, like, all these Wii U re-releases on the Switch. Which basically end up being the better versions of the game. Yeah, Pokemon's a really popular franchise, though, so I can understand that. Yeah, that's what I thought, Lord JP. I wasn't sure how to, like, explain it. But thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, so really the only reason to attack enemies now is to build our RP points, our ring points. How about we don't actually fight the boss? Great gameplay.mp4. I'm glad we're doing this stream. I've been putting this off for ages, man. So it was good that I fired it up last weekend on Twitch. If I didn't do that, we wouldn't be playing this right now. Alright. Yeah, so after this we're gonna go to Valestein Castle. And then after that we go to Prison Island? Is that what it's called? I don't remember. Maybe I'm thinking of Xenoblade Chronicles. I think that's Prison Island. I really don't remember. Alright, so what ring was that? I wasn't paying attention. Heal ring. Okay, that'll give us some health back, which is nice. The more important ring is going to be the Protect ring. What I actually want to do is come here. Man, I'm trying to think. Do I want to do it right now? Yeah, I think I want to do it right now. So we can buy the harp. Never gets old, I tell you. recharge our ring, but we're gonna buy the necklace, which will revive us if we die, but it's $50,000. Trust me, on the final boss, it's worth it. Some Java monsters, gotta hit the C-store. And we should be able to buy something here. I think we need the bandage shield. 10,000? Yep. Actually, I think there's another set of armor. Banded armor, 12,000. Yeah. Yeah, so that would have helped if we got the banded shield. Or banded armor. Alright, not a big deal. We might have to come back. Yeah, see you, Chris. Take care, man. Thanks again for the super chat, my friend. And thanks for tuning in, man. Hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, Genesis version of E3 is a really, really cool little game. Let's go ahead and save it. Yeah, let's go ahead and make a separate save, too, just in case. Yeah, the remix of this tune in Oath and Felghana is absolutely amazing. It's so good. Okay, so basically the only reason to kill enemies now is just to get money. Which I do need, because I am going to need to get some other armor and whatnot. Actually, you know what? I think we get the next best armor, or second best armor in this place. It's probably not going to be a big deal, come to think of it. But I am going to want cash in case, like, I end up using the necklace by accident. These guys are really dangerous, though. And all these traps, especially these harpoons that come up from the ground, they will kill you in one hit. I learned that the hard way last weekend. So we're just going to take our time here. Let's go ahead and save it, just in case I die. And let's go ahead and equip the herb too, just in case. Alright, so if you come down the bottom way, this is actually blocked off, I believe. And so we're gonna have to go back the other way. Yep. But we're gonna beat a boss and then get an item and then come back here. Yeah, Brandon, the music in this game is awesome. It's definitely the absolute highlight of East 3. Like, the soundtrack in general is really great. Honestly, it's probably one of the best soundtracks from that era. It's probably one of the best soundtracks from the era that people don't talk about as much as other games. Alright, so there's gonna be some armor to get here. Or a shield. I think it's a shield. No, I think it's armor. Alright, you know what? Let's go ahead and just use the herb. I don't trust myself. Yeah, this boss is kind of interesting. If I recall correctly, you just go up some stairs and the boss just appears. And if you want to leave the room, you just walk right back down the stairs. Yeah, battle shield. That's what it is. So you don't want to jump over those things. By touching the top of the stick, you'll actually still get hurt. So you really just have to take your time here. It's nothing too special. Yeah, boss time. So let's go ahead and just use the power ring as usual. And we're just gonna pull another... Oh, that was... Okay, we're gonna actually reload our game. I do not want to waste the bracelet, or not bracelet, the necklace. So let's go ahead and load our game. Yeah, I definitely don't want to waste that. That's $50,000, man. Lord JP was playing the Batman 89 movie game on the Mega Drive last week, and I'd forgotten how badass the music is. You like it more than the NES game music? Really? Huh. Interesting. Yeah, I played the Genesis version quite a bit a couple years ago, and I don't remember liking the soundtrack as much. But I definitely want to revisit that game. But man, that version's tough, man. It's tough for different reasons than the NES one is. Like, the gameplay is a lot clunkier. But, I do want to learn how to finish that game so I can do a Let's Play on it. Alright, so with this red bracelet, we can remove the barrier on that statue down below. Alright, go ahead and save it again. Yeah, it's one of the really good things about... you know, being able to save it wherever you want. You can save it right before a boss, and if you mess up, you can just kill yourself and reload your game. Or not even kill yourself, just reload your game when you're done with the fight. You know what also has really good music is actually Batman on the Nintendo Game Boy. The first one, also based on the 89 movie. It's got really catchy music, man. What do I think of the Valis series? I don't think much of it because I haven't really played it much before. I've toyed around with it just very briefly. It seemed kind of basic and kind of unpolished. But I don't know, I might spend more time with it in the future. But I know there are a lot of games in the series. And a couple of them came out on Genesis as well. Was it a couple or was it just one? I think it's a couple. Alright, now I have to figure out where I want to go. Do I go up or do I go down? Alright, boss time. Alright, so... So this guy, you really just want to use your down stab. There we go. Like a poor man's Castlevania. Well, you said the magic word, though, so maybe I'll have to give it a try sooner than later. Because I love me some Castlevania. I think I actually need to go back to the left. I think there's probably either... I think either the flame sword is down below, or armor I need is down below. So let's go back. And we'll go ahead and save it, too. But I'll demonstrate. Bam. See? You die in one hit. And I might actually die again. Because if you're stuck on an object like that, I think it's gonna hit me right away. Yep, see? Just like that. So I just wanted to demonstrate that so you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Very, very dangerous. And it appears you only get hurt by them when they're actually up and out. Oh, wow, look at that. You can just walk right through them when they're on the ground. I did not know that. Ah, interesting. We just learned something. Obviously, it's safer to just try to jump over them because you don't know where they're going to pop up. Okay, battle armor. Okay. Flame sword is probably later on. There we go. So we don't actually need to go and buy the armor from the town. Yeah, the necklace. Okay. Alright, we're good. Talking bad about Valis. Looks like we have some Valis fans in here. Hey, I can be overly harsh to a game if it's not very polished. I mean, even Ys 3 right here, I used to, you know, it used to be one of my personal favorites, but now I play it, I'm like, it's kind of clunky. It hasn't aged very well. The hit detection's especially bad on the final boss, and other bosses too. But I still have a soft spot for it, you know. Of course, if the soundtrack wasn't up to the level that it is, I probably wouldn't enjoy this game as much as I do. Music is definitely a big part of some of my favorite games. And, you know, a great soundtrack can make all the difference for me. It can make the difference between me actually liking a game and me not liking a game. Like, if this game was paired with really bad music, I don't think I'd enjoy it very much. Ys 3 is nostalgia goggles. Alright, so we're gonna have a couple bosses to fight. Alright, so we have to fight another boss. Yeah, I wouldn't even say just shmups and RPGs, man. I mean, action games for me have to have great music too. Yeah. I mean, really any game should have great music, to be honest with you. I mean, you're gonna have different styles of great music. Like, you play an Elder Scrolls game or something, and great music, but for different reasons than, like, the music's great in this, you know? It's not super upbeat and energetic, but it's got melody, it really, you know, it's memorable. And to each their own, of course. Like, you know, everyone's got different tastes in music. I like, energetic and catchy stuff. Stuff that can sound happy, but also super depressing if, like, depending on the mood you're in. That actually kind of sums up this soundtrack pretty well. I've got Harb. Yeah, I mean, without the music, I don't think Street Fighter 2 would have been nearly as well remembered as it is. And the gameplay is obviously amazing, but I mean, so many people, everybody remembers the music to that game. Hey, same unbalanced horse. Thank you for the super chat, my friend. Alright, so we're getting close to the end of the game. So let's go ahead and save it. Yeah, the site that's buying copies of Shaq Fu just to destroy them, it's pretty dumb, to be honest with you. Yeah, it's pretty dumb. Shaq Fu is not a great game, but it's also not as bad as, like, you know, people make it out to be. It's actually got some really nice graphics, and, you know, the audio is actually decent. But the big part about Shaq Fu, aside from the goofy-ass theme, is the gameplay is kind of ridiculous. Like, it wasn't really thought out very well. Like, you jump up into the air and do a jump kick, and your foot goes upwards instead of down, so the jump kick is completely useless. There are a lot of weird design choices like that. I do want to try to Let's Play Shaq Fu eventually, but man, every time I try to play it, I'm just like, let's try this some other time. Alright, so we got our flame sword now. So this is the best sword in the game. We've actually got the best of almost everything in the game. Better than Deadly Towers. Well, they are two different types of games, Wayne, so that depends on your tastes. I do know people that actually really enjoy Deadly Towers, but they also know how to play it, so, you know, that's a factor as well. We have to actually get up and jump over and fall down to the right. I just want to make sure there's nothing down here. I don't think there is. Yeah, there's not. Well, Castlevania music is fantastic. Yeah, this part's a major pain, by the way. Because you can't get over here, and you can't come down here and crawl under. So you have to ride that that hook and then jump over, but the timing is just like super weird. Oh, we got it. Look at that. It only took us 2 tries. I swear, it took me like 20 tries on Twitch. Your Genesis will not play in your new TV. It sounds like your new TV probably doesn't like a 240p signal. So what you want to get is you want to get a kind of like a cheap scaler box. It's not going to look that great, but it'll get your Genesis to work on your TV. It'll basically like convert the signal or upscale it to 720p or 1080p. Huh, interesting. So you can ride this, but it doesn't really do anything. Hey, Tony! Thank you for the super chat, my friend. He says, this is a great stream. Alright, I think we're gonna be at another boss. Alright, so go ahead and use our power ring. So there's a little trick to this guy. You can just sort of sit right in front of him, and you'll dodge his lightning attack like that. Ah. Alright, we're gonna have to kill ourselves. Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's an LCD or an LED or whatever. It just... Some TVs will not recognize a 240p signal. Mine does. Mine does it fine. It just all depends on the make and model, you know? So yeah, for TVs that don't recognize a 240p signal, which is what the Genesis outputs at, you'll need a little, you know, a cheap scaler box, or a really expensive scaler, like I have. But, you know, for more casual use, I don't really recommend, like, the expensive scalers. Unless you're, like, you plan on playing a ton of retro stuff. Bam, that's how it should have been the first time. Yeah, it does look a little bit like the Super Nintendo Prince of Persia. Adol defeats Merland. Demanicus Island is what it's called. We actually have to go back. Yeah, so there's actually the protection ring in here. Yeah, which I did not get. We have to have that for the final place. Otherwise, I'm going to get my butt handed to me at the final boss. Shame there's no shortcut in or out. Do Reptile's finishing move. Fatality. Yeah, like I beat the boss and I was like, I think I'm missing something. Something really important. Honestly, it's probably faster to just reload my game and go back down to the, through the clock tower. This was, yes. And I want to say it was still side-scrolling. I don't know if it was any good. I'd like to try it. I believe 1 and 2 were remade as well. On PS2 in Japan. Actually, I think Starland has a brand new copy of this remake on PS2. It's like, I think it's like $50. I think they got it many, many, many years ago when it was actually new, and they never dropped the price on it. Yeah, updated graphics, says Wayne. Okay. Oh, I still have my herb. Okay. Well, we're fine. Supposedly with Free McBoot, there is a way to get CDRs to work. For me, back in the day, I had to use the Swap Magic Disc. But I no longer have that. I got rid of it a while ago. I do have a hard drive and the network adapter and the HD loader. And I've got a more updated Free McBoot memory card as well. I have to sit down and figure out how to get it all to work. A friend of mine sent me a tutorial of that, you know, many years ago, and I still have it. I need to read through it and get it all set up. Actually, the protect ring might be over here. Yep. It's right there. I can't believe we missed that. Oh my god. Yeah, you know, it's actually kind of surprising it didn't come stateside, Wayne. I mean, the PS2 was mega popular over here in North America. So, it kind of makes no sense that they, you know, didn't bring it over. I would have bought it. Yeah, I don't really need the HD loader for Japanese games because I already have a Japanese PlayStation 2. But playing backups would be fantastic. It's not a Sony game, Arioka. Maybe you should ask Falcom, or wish Falcom to release it. Yeah, that's what I thought I read, that you could play backups with that. This isn't the right way. Alright, we're almost out of here. Let's go ahead and use the heal ring, too. You made the publisher. Gotcha. Yeah, I went ahead and just used the heal ring because we're gonna get all our ring power back at the town. I don't think it would be redundant because there are lots of old fans of the series that would like to play a remade version of Ys 3 with its original gameplay style. You know, Oath and Felghana might as well be a completely new game. I mean, it basically is. Like, yeah, you go to the same places and you fight, you know, some of the same bosses and enemies and whatnot, and the story progresses the same. But the gameplay is totally different. I mean, for the better, honestly. Like, I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about top-down gameplay, but when I started playing it, oh my god. Like, the gameplay just feels so good in Oath and Felghana. It's like leagues above the original game. But still, it would be great having a side-scrolling remake, which is what, you know, the PS2 version is. Alright, Ys 3 on PS2 is pixel art. I thought Ys 3 was like 2.5D. Let me check. Oh, it is pixel art. Well, not really. It's more like hand-drawn. But yeah, that's interesting. That actually looks a lot better than I remember. And the combat actually has combos and stuff. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's... Now I'm really thinking to myself, like, man, that's a damn shame that it didn't come out over here. Okay. Yeah, you know, I always thought the Ys 3 remake for PS2 was, yeah, I already have this. I thought the Ys 3 remake for PS2 was more like a 2.5D game, like a lot of remakes were back then. But no, it's 2D. Through and through. It looks pretty awesome. I don't think so. I don't think they added anything to it, as far as I can tell. But they did, they slowed down the combat a lot. Alright, so on to the final stretch of the game. Yeah, East 3 is a short game, but I mean, on a first playthrough, if you're unfamiliar with it, it's probably going to take you 6 or 7 hours to go through. You know, we're probably going to be I can't talk. We're probably going to be around the 3.5 hour mark. But on Twitch, I think it took me about 4.5 or 5 hours to get through. And I'm familiar with the game, you know? So I think a new player would probably take 6 or 7 hours. So it's not long, but it's not like, you know, it's not a game you're going to beat in an hour. You see it for $28 complete. Nice. I might have to pick that up because, I mean, there's not that much text in this game. I'm sure I could figure out where to go. Alright, so this is kind of irritating. You need to use this jewel right here. And what I want to do is try to save as much ring energy as I can. So we're going to try to do this without using our rings. I might have to switch over to the rings though. Alright, so this kind of has a mind of its own. Yeah, you can see how much damage these guys do to me. So we're going to come down here, and I don't quite remember the route, but I want to say I go left. And we have to really take our time here, otherwise we'll just slam into a skeleton. Like right here. Yeah, we're going to have to oh, no, we don't go down left. We're gonna kill ourselves and redo it. I think we actually come to the right, that's right. This is definitely the east I'm most familiar with. Yeah, this and Oath and Felgana. And I'm relatively familiar with the first one, even though I haven't played it in a long time. Yeah, what's nice about the Super Nintendo version of this is you know, that black is actually translucent and you can see through it. So you can still see enemies when they're behind the, you know, when they're in the darkness. You don't have that luxury in this version, unfortunately. Alright, now we're gonna fall to the left. I'm just gonna wait. Ugh. Yeah, this is definitely my least favorite part of the Genesis version. I played the first one on TurboGrafx. I don't think it's worth playing on Master System, man. It's so slow. Alright, so what we're gonna have to do is... I don't know what I want to do here. Because I don't think we're gonna get another herb. Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do here, man. But we basically fight the same boss again. Very nice. Okay, I didn't have to use an herb. I want all the items I can get, or I can keep for the final boss. Yeah, you pretty much missed all the playthrough. We're almost at the end. Alright, that worked out really well. Full set collectors would want a full PS2 set. Makes sense, huh? Hey, Kenny, welcome back. Yeah, no, I agree. Well, I mean, of the versions from back in the day, I think this had the best OST. The Oath and Felghana remake is just amazing, though. How many games are on that system? 2,000? I don't think 2,000. Maybe between all regions, it's close. But generally when people go for full sets, they go for, you know, a full set of a specific region. Alright, so final boss time. Alright, so we need to attack this guy's arms, and you'll notice that the ground is constantly bouncing up and down, which makes it very difficult to, you know, gauge your jumps. So I'm basically not going to use any ring energy right now until he gets to his second form. Oops! God, I used my herb by accident. I always do that when I'm on this final boss. I tap the A button by accident. Alright, we need to bait him over this way. It's okay, I think we might still be fine. We still have our necklace. Alright, so you can actually just duck down in the middle here and try to attack him. Kind of like that. This is really all you have to do. But it's really difficult to actually get up there and hit him properly. See, look at that. That should have hit, but it's not. What I want to do is try to get some of this health down. It's best to sort of try to attack as you go up. And you kind of like run into him. Hey, John Gaines, thank you, man, for the super chat. So the necklace is used. Alright, let's go ahead and use our protection ring. So the protection ring will actually make us invincible. Okay, ring power is gone, so let's use the brochure serum. Here we go. Okay, I think we actually might be able to might be able to get this. So back to the protection ring. And you really want to try to get a high jump, so you want to try to jump at the highest point, you notice that the rocks are bouncing you up and down, so you want to try to jump when you're up. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I am going to use the amulet. You could use it 3 times. So his health is really low now. We should be able to get this. There we go. And we just beat East 3. I would have had a lot more wiggle room if I didn't accidentally use my herb at the beginning of the fight. It's your birthday 4 days from now, so here's a gift from me. Enjoy. Hey, thank you, John. Happy early birthday, man. Looks like we got a lot of August birthdays. My brother's birthday is on Saturday. Hey, thank you, Tano Harris. Yeah, I mean, Colombia is kind of known for its crime as well, so it doesn't surprise me, Carlos. Completely different, you know, state of living down there, so... Hey, we're glad you caught it too, Tanoharis. I think you and others have asked for some East gameplay, and this was always going to be the first one I was going to do. So, I'm glad I was able to do it. Maybe we'll come back and do the Super Nintendo version sometime. It'd be cool to have both versions on this channel. We could do all versions of E3. Well, with all the super chats tonight, maybe I'll go buy the Japanese PS2 version. We'll stream that. Well, yeah, this is the ending. It's not terribly long or complex. Just a couple images and then a text scroll. So yeah, that is Ys 3, Wanderers from Ys. It's a fun game. Like I said, there are a lot of aspects that haven't aged very well. It's probably one of the weaker games in the series because of that, but it's probably got one of the best soundtracks in the series. And it's still fun. You know? It's still basic, simple fun. You can kind of turn your brain off when you play it. And just kind of get absorbed by the grind and the music. And how long does it take to beat Ys Book 1 and 2? I'm not sure. I've never beaten Book 2, but I got close to beating Book 1, and it's probably a similar amount of time to something like this. It's not very long either. Yeah, it is over already. No reason. Ys Chronicles. I haven't played that. Let's see. Oh, that's 1 and 2. Okay, the remake. Ah, that's the Steam version. Okay. Let me fire up Steam and see which Ys games I have on there. I have a couple. I don't know if I have Ys 1 and 2 Chronicles. Yeah, I mean, if I do Ys 1, I'd like to do the TurboGrafx version first. You know, that would be nice. But I'd have to figure out, are there direct sequels in Ys? Yeah, Delta, there are like 8. Technically, there are 7 sequels and some side games. Updating Steam. I'm just trying to see what games I have. Steam's got to update and crap. The new Ys. The new Ys is out. It came out a couple weeks ago, and it's on PC, PS4, and Xbox One, and Switch. Is it on Switch, guys? Can you guys verify that? Alright, finally got Steam up. Let's see. What Ys games do I have? Ys... Oh, I do have Ys 1 and 2. And Ys Origin, and Oath and Felghana. Although Oath and Felghana, I should probably do the PC version whenever I stream it, but I'll probably end up doing the PSP one. I don't know, we'll see. Yeah, so I do have 1 and 2 on Steam. Cool, I wasn't sure if I had Ys Chronicles, but I do. So, awesome. Well, I mean, Snake, a lot of the Steam updates are also bug fixes. You know, every time you see an update, you can see the changelog. So, yeah, I mean, there are a lot of bug fixes. Which is nice that they're constantly updating it like that. But when you just want to fire it up and look at your library, it can be a little frustrating for sure. You have an Xbox One with no... What? I'm confused. What do you mean no Wi-Fi? Xbox One has Wi-Fi. And it's also got Ethernet. Hey, James. Yeah, we're finishing up now. I can hang out for a few more minutes and chat. Oh, East 8 came out on Vita as well. Wow. Am I gonna be on Twitch later? Yeah, quite possibly, Town of Horus. Wow, the music actually ended. I was not expecting that. I thought the ending theme was just gonna loop on forever. You can't play single-player games without an internet connection. Yeah, you can, Nicholas. You have to make your Xbox One your home console. And then you can play your games offline. No, it's all good, no reason. I will probably be drinking tonight on Twitch. So for those of you guys that are familiar with Steel Reserve, it's gonna be one of those nights over on Twitch, if you know what I mean. I love this intro too. Yeah, this is one of the things that really like struck me with the Genesis version back in the day. Is I grew up with the Super Nintendo one, and then when I played the Genesis one many years later, like 10 years later, this was early 2000s when I got the Genesis one for the first time. This pops up, and I was just like, "Whoa, that's so cool!" You know, the music's fantastic. Yeah, it's a great way to start this game. East 3, man. I kind of don't want to stop. I just want to keep listening to the music. Yeah, thanks for the likes, guys. Yeah, like I say every time like we get on this topic, all the likes and comments and all that stuff helps my channel grow. So the more you guys, you know, thumbs up or thumbs down the videos, it builds my numbers, and YouTube sees that, and YouTube says, "Hey, people like this guy's stuff. We're gonna promote him." So basically, the more you guys interact with my videos, the better chance of my videos actually getting hit in like search results and suggested feeds and things like that. So, you know, even if you don't comment, even if you don't chat, just a thumbs up goes a long way, actually. So, and the more of that I get, the better my channel does. So thank you guys for doing that, and thanks to everyone hanging out here. Arioka, no, I will be doing, if I do the Super Nintendo one, I'm just gonna do it on YouTube again. Trying to think of what I'm gonna play for Saturday. I mean, it's possible I could do the Super Nintendo one Saturday. Hell. It's like, why not? I don't know. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. But we'll see. I'm definitely going to be doing Saturday streams here more often. Again, they're not guaranteed, but because of the whole numbers thing on YouTube, you know, my channel's been performing a lot better the last couple weeks since I've been doing streams more regularly. You know, I've been posting content basically 3 times a week instead of just twice. Not to mention I've been doing longer streams too, which really helps with that. So I've seen a growth in my channel better in the last couple weeks than I have the last couple months, really. So I'll probably keep up the Saturday streams, but we'll see. The Saturday streams aren't planned though, so it's one of those things that's like, you know, if I've got something I want to play, I'll do it on Saturday. Yeah, Tonaharis, I mean, seriously, man, like, I mean, it's possible, I might. Why not just knock them both out at once, right? And then I'll post the archive on Tuesday. So Saturday streams, if I do stream Saturday, the archive gets posted Tuesday, because I do like to space out the archives, you know, as to not, like, spam people too far or too much back to back. Have I ever been recognized in real life? You know, like from YouTube and stuff? It's a handful of times, yeah. Well, actually, I mentioned it a couple weeks ago on my pinball stream, but Smithereens, who's in the chat, he used to live in Virginia as well, and I went up to Starland a couple months ago, and he was like, Austin? I was like, yeah, and so he recognized me. And then at one of the pinball tournaments I've been to, one of my friends from there says his friend recognized me. He dragged one of his friends over to the pinball tournament, and he recognized me and introduced me to him. So that was cool. And then at a convention, you know, there was a fellow or two that I ran to as well. So, you know, it doesn't happen often, but you know, it has happened. It's pretty cool. It's really great, like meeting people in person. You know, putting faces to names and stuff like that. It's really great. So. You can do a Dreamcast game. I can do a lot of games, Carlos. Hey, good night, Jose. Thanks for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed it. And Arioka says, smash that like button. That's what Red Dwarf would say. Yeah, thank you guys for talking about that stuff. That definitely helps. Trust me. Like, do I have a PSIO cartridge for PS1? I do not. Stone Age Gamer is going to be carrying them shortly, and I wouldn't mind getting one, but the problem is that I don't know who can mod my system, because you still have to do a physical mod with the PSIO. It's not just the cartridge, unfortunately. So, hit the sub button, says James. I'm going to guess most of you guys watching, James, are already subbed. That's how I'm sure most people find my stream, but we actually do get some new folks on the stream occasionally. So, All right. Well, if anyone has any other questions or comments or anything like that, I can hang out for a couple more minutes. Otherwise, we'll wrap things up here. I like the border on the intro. I think it would be cool if like the in-game border would change. Actually, it kind of makes sense that it doesn't, because you notice that there's blue on this border. So I'm not sure if they could always have blue in the border because of the console's, you know, limited color palette. So by only having like, you know, 3 different shades of yellow or something, like they didn't have to use as many colors on the border. Nicholas is a new sub. Awesome. Well, thanks for subbing, Nicholas. I hope you enjoyed the stream. We stream here every Thursday night. Lately, I've been doing Saturday streams as well. So if you're around on Saturday, be sure to pop in or, you know, click that bell to get notified. And just watch out for those notifications in case I do go live on Saturdays. And then Sundays, as of now, I post Let's Plays every week. So every Sunday... Sunday morning, Eastern Standard Time, I do Let's Plays. So, they're always dedicated Let's Plays. I play through a game from start to finish. Usually they're games under an hour and a half long. So lots of old school stuff. NES, Super Nintendo, Genesis, stuff like that. And yeah. No, it would not help, Arioka. I don't think it would help. Alrighty, guys. Well, I don't see a whole lot else out there. There is a little more delay tonight. I actually, a few weeks back on my Battletoads stream, I implemented the low delay option, which made chat interaction a lot better. But I noticed the video quality wasn't nearly as good. So I switched back to the normal delay option, which apparently allows for better video quality. It's actually really surprising to me that even if you put it on low delay, the archive still doesn't save at the highest quality possible, which is odd to me. I figured it would like process that normally and then just offer like a more compressed version for live viewers, but apparently it doesn't do that on the fly. So yeah, so we're going to be leaving it on the normal delay. I know it's not as ideal when I stream, you know, like the low delay is a lot better for, you know, real-time chat interaction, but you know, there's the live stream, which is great, but this is also going to be an archive that people are going to be able to watch down the road, you know, years down the road. So I want the best video quality possible as well. So, yeah. So I apologize for not having the low latency option on. I thought that the low latency option would alienate people from, you know, areas with bad internet, but apparently it's been optimized quite a bit. So people with bad internet connections can still watch the low latency stream, which is nice. Like when I was doing Battletoads, I'm pretty sure Carlos was here and he wasn't having any troubles. And normally his internet's pretty bad. So, but yeah, for the sake of quality, you know, for the archive in the future, I definitely want the sharper image overall. So, but yeah. Who would win in a fight, Adol or Link? Which Adol? If it's this Adol, I would say Link would probably win. If it's a later Adol, like from Oath and Felghana, Adol would most certainly win. He's just got some ridiculous attacks and powers. And if it was East 1 Adol, he wouldn't even be able to do anything. He just bumps into people. He would just bump into Link over and over. Link would be like, you gotta be kidding me. I could imagine that as like a episode of Robot Chicken. They have just it all like bump it into, you know, Link. Link like chops his head off in one swipe. Link can jump too. If you look at Zelda 2 Link. How long did it take to beat the game? Less than 3.5 hours. Yeah, and Link has an up slash too in Zelda 2. Adol only has a down slash. Yeah, it was a little over 3 hours. I think it was about 3 hours and 15 minutes most likely. Alrighty, guys. Well, that is pretty much it. How long can the blah of Zelda be done? I don't know. Which one? The first one? The first Legend of Zelda, I think, took us like 5 or 6 hours. The one you can shortcut, I have no idea what you mean. I mean, there are a bunch of Zeldas with skips in them, so... The first Legend of Zelda apparently took us 4.5 hours. That was the whole stream. So I did that back in December last year. So the archive's there if anybody's interested. Yeah, and that was the full game. I mean, we did just about everything in it. I think we got max hearts. We did all dungeons, got all items. So, Zelda 2, 4.5 hours? Yeah, maybe. I need to start another new game on that and try to do the whole thing in one sitting to see what it's like. So I can do it on Twitch. I've been meaning to do that for months, but I keep putting it off. I keep starting a game, getting halfway through, and then stopping, and then forgetting to go back to it. So, and then by the time I go back to it, I have to start a new game again, because it's not fresh in my head anymore. Yeah, I'll probably be on Twitch in a little bit, so, you know, check that out if you guys are interested. Thanks again for hanging out, guys. Let's go ahead and do the old Patreon stuff again. Oops. So thanks again for everyone that is backing this channel via Patreon. And just a reminder for those that are backing, there are a couple declines, so if you were declined, just definitely go get that situated. I do want to give a big shout out to, obviously, you know, the recent super chatters, but we actually got quite a few super chats tonight, so big shout out to John Gaines, happy early birthday, man, Tony Hayden, Satan Well Balanced Horse, Chris Bucci, aka Spider1A, and Town of Horace. You guys are amazing. Thank you guys for making this an awesome stream. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and yeah, I guess until the next one, take it easy.